It is the most wonderful time of the year. We're talking about the holiday season, and here on Live Impact News, we are having special guests come in to not only tell us about some of the things you can get into, but hearing from them on their own holiday traditions. And joining us today, we have Nick Taylor, the Activities Director from Waterside in Norfolk. And if you're familiar with Waterside, you know that things are always going down. So much fun there. And so, Nick, I have a feeling you're a part of a lot of that.
I am. And St. Nick is fine. If you rarely call me St. Nick, that's just fine. So if you're watching this the day before Christmas, I'm on my way. If you're watching it the day after Christmas, you're welcome. So.
Unless you got coal.
Right.
Unless you got coal.
Right.
Which comes
just
from a different department.
Don't yell at me. But no, it's great to have you. And happy holidays to everybody. I hope you're having a great holiday season if you're watching this.
For sure. Okay, so St. Nick, I got to ask you this. Thank you so much, by the way, for coming in the proper attire. You know, I missed the memo. I'm going to bring my hat for the next time. But I want to ask you first, we'll start with holiday traditions. We'll get into the Waterside things first. But I'm interested for you. What are some of the key holiday traditions that you have for your family that you're looking forward to?
Well, I married into an Italian family, so on Christmas Eve we'll be celebrating something called the Feast of the Seven Fishes, and it is big, and it is all seafood. Everything from scallops to clams to shrimp to whatever you can imagine, including a rather disgusting seafood salad that has little tiny squids in it, which I'm not really a fan of. So that's the one thing I do pass on. But that, and like you mentioned, family, being around the people that you care about, and taking a break. I hope most of you watching this will be able to take some sort of break and reset your batteries over the holiday season, because I think more than anything, that's probably the best thing to do.
I feel like that's one of the biggest gifts of the holidays is the gift of rest. Like for a lot of folks, I know there are people who can't, rest during the holiday season, but to be able to have the opportunity for a lot of folks, that is huge. I gotta, by the way, bring in producer Naya Campbell as well, who is in the house with us here with the really nice, what is that, pink sweater? We love to see it. Pink. Yeah, we love to see it. All the festivities for us. Oh, man, I think, we're talking about rest, and I know we're working right now.
Yes.
But, with your job, you have a job other than delivering gifts for all the people across the world.
That's an important one.
In your spare time, you also work as the activities director for Waterside, and you all have so many different activities. What can people get into during this holiday stretch at Waterside?
Well, you mentioned some people getting some rest around the holidays. Not me. This is when we really ramp things up. Now, in your house, in your home, when the holiday season approaches, that's the time of year where you pull out all those decorations. You grab a tree out of the closet or put up the fancy towels or the fancy soaps for the guests who are going to be coming over. And you probably have about 20 to 25 items that you have to pull out and put up in your house or apartment. We do that as well at Waterside, only we have about 20,000 items to put up. One of the best things we do each year is called Miracle. And let me tell you a little bit about what Miracle is. If you are looking for the ideal date night for the holidays, I will give you the secret down low on what Miracle is. The Waterside District is a very big, busy place. When you walk in, you can eat at the Blue Moon Tavern, or you can sit in the marketplace where people are having cocktails and beverages and watching their favorite sports teams. You can go upstairs where you'll see corporate holiday parties at the Harbor Club. But in the corner of all of that, behind a very non-assuming door, is a secret holiday pop-up called Miracle. And if you're lucky enough to get access to that door and open it, what you will see when you walk in, you will feel like you walked in to a living Christmas card. Everything from the floor to the ceiling is decorated. Not a square inch is missed. Everything is merry and bright. It's like when you were a kid and the first time you walked into a toy store and realized it's an entire store of just toys. That's kind of the feeling you get. It's a little bit quieter than that, than a toy store. Not as much screaming. But I will say, what it really is, it's like the best holiday party you can remember, whether it was a work holiday party or a holiday party at a friend's house, where all your friends were there. The music was perfect. The decorations were great. The food was amazing. The drinks were flowing. And everyone in the place was smiling. If you put all that in a bottle, that's what Miracle is. And if you get a chance to visit it, you still have time. The last day will be on December 28th. You can book an appointment to get in. It's like a movie theater almost. They have crowds that come in at certain times. And that's so they can reset everything so that for every group that comes in, it's perfect the minute you walk in. Go to watersidedistrict.com and you can make your appointment. If you're looking for that perfect Instagrammable moment for the holidays where you're on a date night and you can take that picture, look where we are, look what we're doing, look what we're drinking out of, look what we're eating. That's it. Miracle on Waterside Drive is definitely it.
Naya, you heard that? If you're looking for that perfect TikTok experience,
I know.
she's one of our TikTok queens over here.
Oh, thank you.
This sounds like the opportunity.
I'm definitely looking forward. I'm going to try to go next year. This year I wasn't able to, and all next week I'll be gone. But I definitely would love to book.
Well, I just have to find a date.
Okay. You
know,
don't have to have a date to go. You don't have to have a date to go.
You can go with your friends.
Huh?
You can go with your friends.
I can. I feel like this is a date type of thing. I need to go, but
Well,
you can
there
go
are
with your
specialty
friends
nights
too.
where they do like karaoke. They do karaoke night there too.
Ooh.
So that's something that if you want to go there on a karaoke night, you can bring just a bunch of friends and hang out.
Okay.
So you say it is a perfect date night. Don't get me wrong, but you don't have to bring a date if you don't want to.
You're selling this to me, St. Nick. You are
Okay.
selling this to me.
Good.
For
That's my
sure.
job.
Yeah. You talked about the atmosphere there for Miracle as well. I've always been so fascinated by the work that you all do with Waterside, where you not only match the holiday themes, but you're always coming up with something different, something new that people can kind of experience for the first time. When you all are thinking about this, I don't know if it happens at the beginning of the year when you all have time to pause, take a breath, and kind of refresh.
Yeah.
But what do those conversations look like when you're trying to bring these new things into the community?
Well, you get a room full of very creative, smart people. That's the first thing. But the first thing I think we always focus on is you have to put your mindset as the customer. You can't forget that you work at a facility that is meant to entertain people. But if you're not thinking like a normal customer who works 9 to 5 every day or maybe even longer, what does that person want when they walk in the door? What kind of experience does that person want? You mentioned TikTok is huge now, and people want these days moments, even more than items. People want moments, things you can take video or photo of, things that you can capture and go, look what we did. That's the new thing that everybody wants. That's the new present, I guess, if you will. So that's the first thing we think of is, can we create those moments that people will remember and come back for? And also moments that people will put on their Instagram, put on TikTok, put on their even Facebook. And other guests will see that and go, we need to do that too. That's how you win. That's how you spread that cheer, and that's how you get more business. And, the more good advertisements we get from people like you who come to visit us, the easier it is for us to keep the whole thing going.
It's funny. I used to say that one of the greatest gifts you can give is the gift of presence, right? Of being present for family, being present among your family. And now it's interesting hearing from you. You're right. Now it's like, okay, one of the best gifts you can give is being able to show people you were present, right? I was present there. I was present here.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And we try to create experiences like that. We stay on theme. That's another thing, obviously. We stay on theme. When you go to a place like Miracle, you'll find that not only is the music themed, the decorations are themed, and some of the silly little contests like the hidden pickle ornament. You'll see those in there if you can find those. But even the glassware that you drink out of is usually Christmassy. And the cocktails are themed for Christmas. Like we have a drink called Candy Cane Lane, which is a white rum with vanilla and creme de cacao and peppermint. It's almost like a White Russian, but with a peppermint twist. And man, is it good.
That sounds
And
good.
then we have
great.
these sliders. They are the Red Ryder. Remember the Red Ryder BB gun that they wanted on a Christmas story?
On a Christmas story.
Yes. So it's called the Red Ryder slider. And it is basically an entire Christmas meal in slider form. Roasted turkey, mashed potatoes, gravy, and it's all in a slider. I mean, the kitchen comes up with these brilliant ideas, and they're absolutely perfect. So, yeah, I mean, that's another thing we try to do, stay on theme.
Okay, so I got to ask you this. I mean, you could do this if you want to, et cetera. But with your family, is there any holiday tradition that you've seen where you've always just wanted to implement it with your own fam, or you wanted to try? Because I'm just learning about this,
Yes.
the seafood thing that your family has
Yes,
going on for the
yes.
first time. So now I'm like, would I try that? What's something that you've thought? I'm like, I would like that.
Well, this is not very original or exciting, but the one thing I've always wanted that I just don't have the patience or nerve to do, and a lot of you watching this are going to understand, the outdoor lighting on our house. We stick to the lighting on the ground in front of the house because the roof on my house is at an incredible slant, almost to the point where it would be dangerous.
Safety hazard.
Yes, for me to get up there. So, and then we would be the house that had half of a row of lights, and then it would drop to the ground, and then everybody would go, "Why is there a guy laying in the bushes there?" So
That could be a part of the decoration.
I could never be a Clark Griswold and do the lights on the roof with the staple gun. No, I couldn't. So that is the one thing that if I could, I would. But I'm afraid I would not make next year's broadcast if I tried to attempt that.
You just have to make it a community thing.
I
You got to
mean-
get people, you got to get your neighbors, your
Yeah.
friends to say, hey
Yeah.
guys, let's get together. Let's make one of these candy cane lanes or
Yeah,
something like that.
yeah.
And then we're going to put up the lights. And you really sell it, which you could sell something.
Right.
You could maybe sell it to where they do most of the work.
I'll do the best I can, but no promises. No promises.
We love to hear it. Now, you got any questions for him? I love this.
I do. I couldn't help but notice when I was down at the Wisconsin, the skating rink. Is that a part of Waterside District now too?
It's all a part of the city of Norfolk, which really comes together nicely. Now, we don't have anything to do with the skating rink, but I will tell you this. When the guests come in from or before skating, we've got plenty of food for them to eat, plenty of places to sit down and have dinner before or after. I can't tell you the number of guests we get who come in before or after Wisconsin, before or after skating. And that, to me, is a really good example of how a city like Norfolk can really hold hands with each other and go, we want you to win, but we also want to win. And, when we get guests at Miracle, we'll tell them, it's the perfect cap to the end of your night is you should go over to Wisconsin and see the lights after this. We have no problem doing that. And they do the same thing for us. So it's not ours, but it is one of those things where the whole city works together. And that's why I think a Christmas night, like a holiday evening winter night in Norfolk is so much fun because there's no shortage of things to do.
Yeah, I would sit here and think, which one would I do first? Would I
know.
do ice skating, then get drinks, or would I get drinks, then go do ice skating?
I don't recommend
Yeah, I was
drinking
about
before
to
ice
say.
skating. Yeah, depending how much, I don't know how
Drinks maybe
experienced a
after.
skater you are. So
I'm decent.
Okay.
But I don't know how decent I would be.
Well, then if you
after,
have a couple drinks before, you can always blame it on the
Exactly, if I
on
fall.
the drink. Oh, I had
That's, you're there
that
with
cocktail
me.
was stronger than I thought.
A little bit of
Otherwise-
holiday cheer on the
Yeah,
ice. That's
yeah.
all.
Yeah.
Okay, Miracle is wrapping up on the 28th. What about New Year's Eve, New Year's Day?
Okay, put your seatbelts on. New Year's
Wrap it up.
Eve is the event that we start planning in the spring. I feel like we just last week started picking the last pieces of confetti out of the ceiling from last year's New Year's Eve. It is an all-inclusive event where by the end of the night, my goal is for your friends to see these photos and ask, how many places did you go on New Year's Eve? Because we have everything. We have multiple DJs in different bars throughout the entire marketplace. Everything's indoors, which is really nice. So if it rains, if it snows, you have the option of going outside on a nice balcony that overlooks the gorgeous Elizabeth River, if that's what you want to do. You want to kiss somebody looking over the moon and river at midnight with champagne in your hand, check, we can do that. But if you'd rather be on a dance floor with 500 to 800 people listening to one of the best DJs you'll ever hear, got that too. We also have silent disco. I don't know if you've done that before. Everybody gets headphones.
I've heard about it.
Yeah.
3 channels. If you don't like what's playing on channel 1, switch. Go to the red channel. Go to the green channel. Go to the blue channel. And whatever soundtrack you want for your New Year's Eve is the one you're listening to. It's also fun to walk around and see what channel everyone's on. If you are on the blue channel and you notice everyone's on green, that DJ must be playing something good.
Yeah.
So you switch over to green and go, oh yeah. So we have that for you. We've got karaoke in a sidebar as well. If your ideal night on New Year's Eve is get together with some friends and let's all sing our butts off in a karaoke bar with all of the drinks flowing and our best friends around us, we've got that for you as well. It is a venue where the dance floor will be huge and full because you're looking at the entire wide open marketplace. Imagine almost like a smaller section of an airport terminal becoming a dance floor. However, if you would rather be above all of that craziness with a cocktail in your hand, looking down on it, going, wow, look at this. This is great. You have that option as well. Our entire VIP area up in the Harbor Club will open up, and you'll be able to sit there and look down at everything going on and go, man, isn't this the best party? And that's another thing I like about Waterside is I don't think if you come to Waterside for New Year's Eve, I don't think you will leave going, I wonder if we were at the biggest party this year. Because without a doubt, you were.
You know, I'm just sitting there envisioning. I have never gone to one of those parties with the silent discos, but I've heard of them.
They're
I've
blast.
seen videos.
Yeah.
And I just want to walk into the room where everyone's making, not just dancing to their own beat, but somebody's singing,
Oh, yeah.
you know,
Yes.
something.
Yeah.
And just to take off your headphones for a moment and just to hear people in their own world and all of these different songs and people.
Oh, yeah.
And I imagine, you know, they probably won't maybe sound the best on everybody.
Right.
That to me is...
What's
would
even
be
more
great.
fun is when a line dance song comes on and you all of a sudden see all these people and they start scrambling.
Yes.
And they get it, like if they play Flex by Cupid or
Yeah.
Jerusalema or maybe a Cha-Cha Slide or something like that. And then you see everyone get in and you're like, okay. And it's funny, if you're not listening, you're like watching going, okay, I know what song they're doing.
Yeah.
So that's even more fun. But you're right, there's a lot of singing too.
That is awesome.
That's exciting. I'm sold. I think that's where I will be New Year's
Okay,
Eve.
we have to do this.
'Cause
We
I
have
will
to
be
do this
back.
collectively.
Yes, I like that.
Okay.
Well, you won't regret it. It is an absolute blast. You know, some of the other things that make it a lot easier too is sometimes if you go out on New Year's Eve, you can't find anywhere to park. We have a garage right across the street with a covered walkway that you just walk right in. We'll have a red carpet with a photo op right when you get there. So if you dress it up and you want to do the red carpet photo, got you covered like a stop and repeat and like the red carpet looking really good. Coat checks, we got those taken care of for you as well. Obviously, we have tons of food. And it is some of the food you heard me describe earlier. It's amazing what the kitchen comes up with on New Year's Eve. They do specialty food, specialty dishes. The cocktails, obviously, we got you covered. And even if you're not a drinker and you just want to hang out and drink non-alcoholic cocktails, we can make those for you as well. And we're weatherproofed. So if it rains or snows or whatever, you're still covered. Lots of hotel options right around the district in case you want to stay the night somewhere instead of, or you can get an Uber, whatever you want to do as long as you get home safe. That's the important thing. But we go all night. And, I know what I forgot to tell you about.
Okay, I'm
Is
excited
everybody paying
about this.
attention?
Yes.
$2,000 in cash and prizes will be given away that night. And here's how we do it. We put all the prizes in balloons above everybody. And at midnight, all the balloons come down to the floor. Everybody grabs a balloon and pops it, and there's either going to be a gift in there or money or both. We do it in the entire ceiling of the marketplace. There must be, I want to say at least 1,000 balloons up there. So, yeah. So that's one of the highlights as well. If you are coming and you do want to stay above the crowd and watch all the craziness from above, I would recommend getting to the dance floor at midnight because you got a good chance of winning some cash.
Oh, wow.
God, that's exciting.
You sold this.
Yeah. Well, it's easy. I mean, the team over at Waterside District put together a great event, and it's a real tribute to how hard they work all year.
I love it. I love it. Well, I know right now we're a little bit at time, so I want to ask you one more question.
Sure.
About the holidays. And I know I asked you what's one thing you would do that, you haven't done. Great answer with that. But what's one of the earlier childhood holiday memories that you have and, that you kind of hold fondly for yourself?
I mean, there's so many. My family put together some great Christmases. I always think of my dad. He was a Christmas guy. He loved Christmas, and every year we would get the real tree. Not anymore, but back then that was what you did. You got the real tree. And my brother and both of my sisters and my mom would all decorate that tree. And every year, once it was done, it was a big moment in our house because it wasn't officially done until Dad took a few steps back, and he would look at the tree like this, and then he would look around at us and he would say, you know what? I think this is the best tree we've ever had. Wow. And every year he would say it, and we knew it was coming, but we were so nervous because we were expecting one year he would go, no, I don't like it. Every year. And that was kind of like for us, when he gave us that okay, it was like, okay, Christmas season has officially started.
Yeah. Oh, man, I love that story.
I
love that. Man, Nick Taylor with Waterside, thank you so much for joining us. St. Nick, you're going to be really busy with, your job and your side job that you got.
Watching you all.
But thank you so much for coming on and sharing not only, what's going on at Waterside, but some amazing holiday memories. Yes. I love that. Might steal a few of those, too.
I would love to see you all at New Year's Eve. It's going to be an absolute blast. And you can get your tickets at watersidedistrict.com.
Well, hello, it is the holiday season, and there are so many things to do and explore in Hampton Roads. And if you are in the Hampton area, you're in good luck. Joining us today to talk about some of the events and the activities that you can get involved with is Lucy Cochran, who is the Hampton Historic Assets Executive Director. Thank you so much for being here this morning, Lucy.
Thank you for having me. I love to talk about what we do in Hampton. It's an amazing place, and we have some wonderful things going on around the holidays. So
I got to ask you first, Lucy.
Yes.
Thank you again for being here. I said that I was going to ask you about your title. Before we even get into what is going on, the Executive Director of Hampton Historic Assets, what all falls under that? Because we know that Hampton has so much history, and so I imagine you have a pretty busy job.
Well, we do. Actually, our physical assets are, of course, the Hampton History Museum, and then we also have the Historic Carousel, which is beautiful and over 100 years old, and then we also have a big, giant outdoor exhibit space, and it's called Air Power Park. And we have loaned planes, full-size planes and rockets from NASA, the Air Force, and it's out on Mercury Boulevard, named after the Mercury astronauts. And we really celebrate that history of air and of course going into space. But for us, we also do a lot of special projects. Like right now, we're working on our Hampton Heroes, where we honor people that kind of live up to the dream of Martin Luther King, and we always unveil who we're honoring on Martin Luther King's birthday.
I love that. Yeah. Now, behind you, we have a nice, beautiful shot of Hampton there, and hard to miss the carousel, the historic carousel there. Yes. And I know that falls as a part of all of the holiday kind of tradition that you all have. Yes. What is going on when it comes to the carousel?
What we do is we decorate it, and we call it Winter Whimsy because it, where's a happier place than the Hampton Carousel? And for us, they're works of art. They've been hand carved by artists many years ago. And then, of course, on top of that, you have this lovely music. And so we decorate it for the holidays. And really, we have people from 2 years old to 95 years old riding it. And it really is a family-oriented place. So no matter how old you are, you can enjoy it. It's not the fastest ride, but it is the most fun. And it's so family-friendly. And for us, we encourage people to come. We give away free candy canes during this time. So it really is a wonderful place to visit with your whole family.
Sarah, free candy canes. I think you and the hubby, you need to go ahead and head to the carousel, get some candy canes, ride around, Christmas cheer.
This is a great reason
Come on.
to get up to Hampton.
And so, a lot of people have, we talk about the historic carousel, right? We're talking about it in the context of the holidays right now. But Lucy, can you speak a little bit about the history? Why do we place so much emphasis on this particular carousel? I mean, it has a bit of a history of itself.
It does. It was built by the Philadelphia Toboggan Company and brought here many years ago, and it was at actually Buckrow Beach for many years outside. And people always say, well, why isn't it outside still? Well, it's because we want to make sure it lives for another 100 years. And for us, it not only represents kind of the history of Hampton and certainly one of the great assets the city had before with the Buckborough Amusement Park, but it also is one of those things that every generation, whether you visited Hampton or lived there, it's been a part of your life. I remember it as a child. So for me, I see people, as I said earlier, no matter what age, they want to ride this ride. And it becomes something they can all relate to. So for us, it's also, as I said, a work of art. And this mechanism is running for over 105 years now. I mean, it's beautiful, but again, it's really a marvel that it was so well made that it's still running.
I was about to say the engineering on that had to be impeccable, and obviously the upkeep over the years as well.
Didn't it just have a renovation?
It did. Well, we actually, every now and then when something's running that long, you kind of have to take it, off the rails, I guess, if you want to call it that, and really make sure everything's running smoothly. And that's what we did for a couple of months, a couple of years ago. And now we really have something that is running perfectly, and I don't see any problems for the next, 10, 15, 20 years.
You mentioned that you remember it, when you were younger as well. Can you share with us one of your favorite memories that you had with the carousel?
Actually, we used to go there with my parents, but an interesting story, probably to no one but me, is that when I was a teenager, we used to go there. And I met one of my first boyfriends that was working at Buckrow Amusement Park, but he was on the old roller coaster, not at the carousel. But anyway, so, it becomes a thread in your life that you kind of, it's a touchstone for a lot of people in this area.
And there aren't a lot of those.
No.
I mean, there are not a lot of those still remaining where I could say that my parents experienced it, that their parents experienced it. And so that's what the carousel really is. Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to think, Sarah, in my lifetime, I don't know if there's a lot of things that I could even point back to that going back to my grandparents that they, experienced. My family's from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. So there are a few things that have been there for quite a long time, but I'm not quite sure 100 or so years that you can kind of share those memories with. So that's amazing. And so that goes until when?
Actually, that's a good question because I should have said this earlier, but we actually closed the carousel down to do maintenance. And so the season ends December 31st.
Okay.
So between now and December 31st, it's great to go out there real quick and ride the ride as much as you can because then we'll reopen on April Fool's Day.
Okay. All right. Really reopening on April Fool's Day.
Yes, exactly. Not a joke.
So what else is going on in the city of Hampton around the holiday season? I mean, that's going to be a big draw.
It will be. We have at the museum itself, we always have a lot of activity going on. We just had a wonderful program that just happened in our Great Hall, and we'll be having events, especially a lot of private events there because the museum's a beautiful space and really a great place for people to celebrate their families, etc. But we actually have a Revolutionary War exhibit, and it's celebrating, of course, the 250th anniversary. And what's so special about this is, well, of course, Hampton's history is unique because it can kind of tell the nation's history, but in kind of a personal way. And what we have done with this Journeys of Liberty exhibit is that we talk about the different ways people got liberty during that period. And a wide, diverse group of people. You know, we have sailors, we have enslaved people, we have women, and we're telling those real stories. So it really is a way for people to see themselves in that period and maybe think about what they would have done, because we say what people did in this instance of course, great turmoil, war. And for us, it allows us to not only celebrate Hampton, but really put into perspective the whole American Revolution. And we are doing something unique. So what we've decided, you know, a lot of people, they go to an exhibit and then they say, okay, we've done that, don't need to go back. We are actually, in a way, almost making it a little bit of a chapter experience. So every month or two, a couple of months, we are actually adding new things. For example, so many people didn't know the French that, of course, fought on, I assume everyone knows, but fought on the Patriot side. They had a winter camp in Hampton. So we are we are getting ready to install the winter camp. So people, and of course, very appropriate in the winter, people will be able to see that shortly. And it'll what their camps would have looked like, you know, not living in a house, but actually in tents in the cold. But for us, again, that gives people a chance to come back, learn a little more, and not feel it is, you know, one and done.
Yeah.
So it's a great time to come. And of course, we have, I have to mention our gift shop. Nothing better to give than something from the museum, because it not only represents kind of the place, but also the great history. And so we have a gift shop that you can come get all your presents from. But then on top of it, I would say nothing better to give than a membership to the, and of course I have to say this because you really get something every month for being a member. And memberships start at $25. So it's not inexpensive, and you get in for free. You get into special events we do. You actually get a discount at the gift shop, and it really is a chance to learn first, see first, all the wonderful things we do, all the events we do in the Great Hall. You get in for free.
And that's $25 for the year?
Yeah, $25 for the year. We have other levels too. I encourage you to maybe start
Explore
at $25
those.
and then go up.
Of course.
But yeah, it's a wonderful place, and always changing, always new. And for us, it's really a place to celebrate being an American, but also being from this region.
And, you know, obviously you all want to attract people from all over, you know, even beyond Hampton Roads, to come in and explore and to learn about Hampton. But I wonder, as, you know, someone who works in Hampton, I've been honest, we were talking right before the stream started, that I love Hampton. I have to work on the other side of the water, so that's, you know, for me, I didn't want to have to do that necessarily travel every day, but I go to Hampton often, whether it's to university or seeing friends and those kind of things. And one question that I have for you, because of all the history, because of the museum, do you often find in conversation with people who live there, that do they connect with the history of the city?
They really do. And because I mean, certainly there are a lot of people that come to Hampton that didn't grow up here, but you do find a lot of people that they're descendants of people that came a long time ago. It gives people a chance to really share their personal stories. And so I see people talking more about growing up in Hampton, you know, when their great-great-grandparents came, et cetera. That Hampton's that kind of place. It's a small southern city, but it really reflects kind of every aspect of American history. You have a lot of people that came here because of the military, and they stayed because they loved it. So it really, people do connect to their history, and they're proud of their history. And they embrace all the great history that Hampton represents. Because, you know, from the first continuous English-speaking settlement, that's Hampton. I mean, that was, and, you know, we continued to have people live here, unlike, you know, like Jamestown that was abandoned. So, you know, for us, we do represent that continuity of American history.
Well, a great opportunity for folks during the holidays and during the winter months is, you know, people may have time off or, you know, they might have family who are visiting from out of town. All of the things that you just mentioned, you know, you can take a day, take some time, and go out to the museum, go to the carousel, experience it for yourself, and just have a really good time. Plus, places to eat in Hampton
great
too.
downtown.
I mean, so you can make a really good day of that, and even more than that, just heading down to Hampton and having a good time, seeing the festivities and all of that.
Yeah. And of course, Carousel's right next to the Air and Space and Science Center.
Boom.
So it's perfect. You can, all three, the museum, Carousel, and Air and Space and Science Center are right there within like a 2-block walk. And then all the restaurants you mentioned are another block or two away. So it's a wonderful place. And we have the historic St. John's Church, which is literally right next to the museum. So that's a historic church that has been there for hundreds of years. Another great place to visit.
So much history, so much to do. Definitely want to support and take some time and go to Hampton and look at it. It looks so beautiful right there. And then you got the Christmas tree that is already up. You know, it's daytime at this moment while we're doing this stream here. But I tell you what, it's a beautiful sight, I'm sure, at nighttime when you'll be able to look at all of that. And Sarah, I mean, there's something about the festivities and holidays that really it's hard to be in a bad mood, man. it's just really hard to.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Lucy Cochran, the executive director of Hampton Historic Assets, and coming on and telling us all the things that are going on in the city of Hampton. And we certainly wish you a great holiday season as well. Hopefully you get some rest in there, too, with all the things that are going on. And hopefully people see this and they head on out to the city and they, too, can have a good time.
I really appreciate y'all having us here. Thank you so much.
Well, thanks for sticking with us here on Live Impact News on 13 News Now Plus. It is the holiday season, and we know around the holidays, a lot of families like to get around the table for a good meal. But one of the issues that we have seen and we've been reporting on across the Hampton Roads region is food insecurity. One of the major players working to combat that is our local food bank. And with that, we have the president of the Food Bank of Southeastern Virginia and the Eastern Shore here, and that is Christopher Tan. Thank you so much for being here, Chris, and all the work that you do. My first question to you today, I mentioned the holiday season, but we know food insecurity is something that is all year long. What does it look like right now in Hampton Roads?
The most recent data that we've seen is that, 1 in 8 of our neighbors are food insecure, meaning, that they don't know where every meal is going to come from. That's up from 1 in 10. So that's a significant increase over the last 2 years. And that data is actually 2 years old. So it's probably even worse right now. Food insecurity affects so many in our community. And I think, the holiday season is a time when it brings a lot of attention to that work. We want our neighbors, and we know what it feels like to have the connections for Thanksgiving dinner and holiday meals and sharing time together around food. And it just drives point that there's a lot of people in our community that don't know where not just that meal is going to be, but where every meal is going to be. And so that's seniors, it's children, it's families, it's anybody really in that sense. And so we know that we have to be, while this time brings a lot of attention to our work and a lot of resources to our work, we have very generous donors and generous neighbors, but it also is a 12-month process, and we know that we have to be there for that all the time.
We've been reporting throughout the year, inflation, the price of groceries for people, and obviously we had the government shutdown and people were, out of work and people being laid off throughout the year.
Sure.
Has it looked a little bit different for you guys in 2025 when it comes to A, maybe how busy you've been, and then B, maybe some of the people that you've seen coming in?
So I would say that, that's one of the challenges of talking about food insecurity is being able to describe it, because it can be really such a wide swath. And the way that I tend to think of it is that people tend to think of food banks serving those with, maybe on the side of the street with a "We'll Work for Food" sign or a hungry sign. And certainly we have great partners that help with congregate feeding and things like that. But we're more likely to be serving the guy that gives that person $1, that generous person that also recognizes need, but also has need. So what you'll see in our lines, you're going to see nursing scrubs. You're going to see, people who are working 1 or 2 jobs just to make ends meet. And what would have normally paid for all of their groceries, now with inflation and with the cost of living and housing in our community, like, it's not enough, and it's just not enough to get by. So they're not using the food bank as every meal that they're ever going to get. They're not using the food bank as, the majority of their meals sometimes, but they are using it as, hey, I need to supplement my grocery bill by getting some food from the food bank. And so we're proud to be a part of that. But it is a different feel than it ever has been before. You're really seeing a lot of working families, a lot of people working multiple shifts. The other thing I would say is that the government shutdown has had a huge impact in that short-term window. And I don't know that we're going to see the real impact until January, February, March, when those who had been without pay for 40 days, they're all getting paid in retrospect. But what happened during those 40 days? Did they have to take on credit card debt? Did they not pay credit card debt that they already have? So it is a lot of what I would call working families looking to do just enough to get by, and one flat tire ruins their lives and changes them dramatically.
Yeah, I'm glad that you say it that way, because I think sometimes people do have this certain picture of what someone looks like if they're showing up at your facilities asking for help or trying to get food. And it really is a wide array of individuals. It could be the person you work with right next to you.
Absolutely.
You just never know what somebody's financial situation is based on what their financial responsibilities are.
Or, a lot of times we're seeing health as a primary factor, meaning, I'm pregnant and I'm having a baby, and all of a sudden I had to have a C-section, so I'm out 2 more weeks, and I don't have the ability to not have funding for 2 more weeks. It's the life impacts that happen. I had to have surgery, emergency surgery, and I don't get paid when I don't go to work. So being out a week is a dramatic impact to my family and my life. And so it's oftentimes those things that people are working paycheck to paycheck, and they don't have any room in their budget for any challenges that might happen to all of us. The other day I got a flat tire. I'm fortunate enough that I don't think about how that affects my life. I don't think about, other than I'm a little bit annoyed that I got to go get it fixed, right? But if I'm a neighbor that needs service, that flat tire can mean my kids don't eat the same meal that they were going to eat, or I need to go to the food bank.
You mentioned budgeting in there, and we had done some reporting early in the year that you all's budget had been impacted by some cuts that had taken place at the federal level. With that topped with people who obviously we've seen that need kind of spike as well. How have you all managed to still fill in the gaps for individuals?
So I would say, one, I get to work with a great group of people that really adapt quickly. We saw about $400,000 worth of food cut from various resources in the next fiscal year, which is now this fiscal year. And then we've done really well as a food bank to try to keep reserves in a place where we can respond when the community needs us. So the government shutdown is a perfect example of that. We have the second most government civilian employees in the country, next to Washington, D.C. A lot of them are focused on the defense industry, as you probably can imagine. And so we were diverting about $400,000 worth of funding to help just meet that increased need. That comes from really good planning and having a board that supports the idea that food banks have to be there at critical times no matter what. And so that enabled us to respond without knowing whether we would get generosity responded to us. The reality of it is that this community, we are very fortunate to live here. They step up, and so they did. And so we're lucky to be a part of that.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that, because I don't think you and I had really talked personally since the government shutdown and everything like that. How did the community step up to help you all? After learning about the cuts that are coming, and then obviously seeing the influx of need, how did Hampton Roads step in and to support the food bank?
Every time I'm always just amazed at the level of generosity that happens when people know that something's going on in their community. I think it's incredible. It really is inspiring, to be quite frank. So when we were talking to people about, there are 12,000 employees of the naval shipyard that are working and not getting paid, or they're TSA employees or air traffic controllers. people recognize that, hey, I need to be a part of that. I need to be a part of the solution. So, for example, we had to pack about 6,000 boxes in a 2-week period, which would normally take us, I don't know, probably a month to do. We were doing it in a week because we were adding shifts and having to tell people, oh, we have too many people that want to volunteer their time. And equally in the generosity of their gifts monetarily, we did very well in that sense. And so people in this community embrace the food bank model, which I think is neighbors helping neighbors, that, hey, they're going to need a little bit today. And so it was really amazing to see. And so what we used to raise in a month, we raised in a week. And so it's really, really quite inspiring.
And, because we're in the spirit of the holidays and the spirit of giving, if someone wants to support your mission, they're watching this, they're saying, oh, my goodness, I would like to support, how can they go about doing that, maybe even during the holidays?
Yeah, thank you for asking that. So, the easiest way is to go to foodbankonline.org, which is our website. If you have the monetary ability to give, we would welcome it, of course, and we would welcome it all the time of the year. Again, the holidays bring extra attention, and we receive a lot of generosity, but the need is all year round. And so, foodbankonline.org, go to I Want to Help, and you can donate there on our website. But if donating is not something you can do, thinking about hosting a food drive is something you might want to inspire in your neighborhood, or cleaning out your pantry. That would be wonderful. We'd love to have it. But even if that's not possible, we get 7,000 volunteers a year that provide us over 30 full-time equivalent employees. So we have about 70 employees, but with volunteers, we have 100. And so we need those resources. We need that time and energy and your willingness to support our work. There's something to do every day at our food bank for volunteers. That same website allows you to click I Want to Help and volunteer. And so you can sign up online. If you have young people that want to do it, you can do it with your children in the holiday season. We would love to have you, for sure.
Okay, so let's talk about some of the things that may be coming up
Sure.
Over the next few months or so. Do you all have any campaigns or anything that you're doing differently for people to get involved in, or to kind of meet the need in the community?
So one of the things I think I probably talked about every time that we've met is, the holidays bring this great, resources to us. And then we talk about, there are other times in the year when that. So we're going to probably maybe put our money where our mouth is for the first time in a while and say, hey, in January, we're going to have a large scale distribution and try to help people meet the needs of January and February. I say that because this community has, I believe, I checked, the 6th highest credit card debt in any city in the United States.
Oh, my goodness.
And so we know that the holiday time is a time when people unfortunately go into more debts at times. And so we want to make sure that those who have either had a struggle with the government shutdown, and that's really starting to come to roost now that you maybe have taken on debt through that time period because you weren't getting paid. We want to make sure that, hey, we're still here for you, and we plan that. So in January, we're going to host a large-scale distribution to put more food into the system for about 2,000 households in the Hampton Roads community. And then in February, we're going to be enhancing every mobile pantry distribution that we have in Eastern Shore and Western Tidewater. So hitting all of our service area as much as we can, and enhancing that with more protein and more produce. One of the things we talk about a lot, and it's important, is that not just that we're providing food, but that we're providing healthy food, the food that comes off of your shopping list first when you're struggling, and that's protein and produce. Shelf-stable goods are amazing, and we'll always have that and be a part of that. But the reality of it is that our neighbors, to maintain health, they need more produce and protein. So that's what we'll do.
I love it. I love to hear it, and can't wait till those happen. And we'll, make
sure
that we can get the word out there that you're going to be doing it. And my last question to you is more so about the holiday season. Yeah. We've been asking people if they have any particular holiday traditions that they and their families may celebrate that they look forward to every year. You work so hard, 12 months out of the year. Do you have any holiday traditions that you participate in and that you're looking forward to?
Yeah, I will say, somewhat work related, that we get invited to a lot of holiday parties to talk about our mission and our work. So that's kind of fun to see how different people do that. Personally, I have 4 children, so like the Christmas Eve, we always have this lovely dinner, and we have these special things that we make ourselves talk about, like which present you're looking forward to giving the most. Trying to give back to our children the idea that, receiving in Christmas is always what children focus on. And I say children, there are 3 adult children and 1 9-year-old. But I love the idea of having them think about, what are you most excited to give to somebody? What are you most willing or excited to see something that you've done be opened? And now that I really think of it, it's really a reflection on our work. Like, we at the food bank, we love to talk. We love to help. Like, it's really the secret sauce of happiness for our employees. And so that's a big tradition that I like to do, for sure.
What are you looking forward to giving? I love the mindset, Sarah. That is, I'm going to have to put that on a shirt or something to remind myself too around the holidays. All right, we got Christopher Tan, president of a food bank of Southeastern Virginia and the Eastern Shore. Thank you again, Chris, not only for coming in, but everything that you and the team do throughout the year. I know we report on your efforts pretty substantially, and there are a lot of people who are being supported in our Hampton Roads community because of the work that you guys are doing. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you for having me, and I always say this too. Thank you to 13 News, and every time you cover something, it brings attention to our work. It brings generosity from our donors and neighbors, and it also tells our neighbors where they can go when they need help, which is the most important thing.
Yeah. All right, Chris, thank you so much. Happy holidays to your
you
family.
too.
Enjoy the time as well. And if you haven't, again, you can go to their website and figure out maybe that's a holiday gift that you want to give, to support their efforts to as neighbors helping neighbors, as their motto is in our community. And it's really easy to sign up to volunteer and give, just going to their website there, and you can do that. And so definitely a great opportunity for you if you have the means or if you have the time.